Hi everyone and welcome to the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. My name's Adam Sykes, founder of SwiftCase, the professional productivity platform, and today I've got with me
Phil Whitby, developer here at SwiftCase.
And Craig McCarthy, development manager at SwiftCase.
Great, and today we were going to talk about something I was speaking to one of our clients the other day about, which is the way that loads of different communication channels have opened up, that now there's so many, it takes you so long to actually work out how someone's trying to communicate with you. These things that are meant to be efficient have now become inefficient. Mm-hmm. So I'd sent him a WhatsApp message because I use WhatsApp quite a lot with like my family and like with colleagues and so on. But he was like, well, at the moment I'm using like WhatsApp, I've got Twitter and I've got, Facebook Messenger and whatever, all these different messengers. But they're all different people using different messages, and like it's not consolidated, that you don't get a fast response, even though these instant messengers are meant to be instant.
I absolutely
you get so many notifications nowadays that a notification, you just switch them off, you just wind you up, and
I check my phone. I mean, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Popular, but I check my phone and there's bloody loads of notifications all across the shop. I mean, this week, my niece had a baby recently, we're similar ages, and her fella got in touch with me via Instagram Messenger. And to be honest, I didn't know I even had him on there. And I was like, oh, congratulations. And then the next minute, I get a Snapchat of someone else, so I have to open that. And I have to look at that. And when someone wants to send me, or when this person wants to send me, a picture of what they're doing or something like that, they'll use Snapchat. But that's another thing I need to check. Another thing I'm having to keep an eye on, update and so on. And then there's this saga when it comes to messages. Now, you can hook your SMS into Facebook Messenger, and I think you can hook it into WhatsApp, which is good. But at the minute, I've got people sending SMS messages, WhatsApp and Messenger.
Same person.
And and I'm like, what's going on? Just leave it.
Choose.
Exactly. Because otherwise, if they've arranged I'll see you this weekend, that might be on the SMS and I can't follow it through on the message. And I find it really frustrating.
I've noticed it recently because I've been working on a project that's using Slack.
Oh God,
And because there's that many people on Slack and I'm on that many channels, the notifications were insane. Because I was getting notified every time two other people were having a conversation that there was new messages, because it's not necessarily a message to me. And so I turned off the notifications and I just go on when I want to see it, and it's something I always recommend to turn off notifications, and most of my things are turned off. I think apart from maybe WhatsApp, because that's the main one I do use, but Twitter, I might not go on Twitter all the time, and if you're messaging me on Twitter, it's effectively like email.
It is, yeah.
I suppose that's the level of response, unless I'm actually on at the time. And for some networks, you can tell someone's online. So I think
Instagram shows you.
Slack certainly shows you you're actually on.
Messenger
and LinkedIn does, but Twitter doesn't. So you don't know they're on or not. I think you can tell they've seen your message. But you can't tell they're actively on.
So that means you've got literally infinity to on.
Exactly. So it is what's the etiquette on a Twitter message as opposed to an email? Is it is that an instant message, or is it an email type message where expect an answer within the day or 2 days, not 5 seconds? If someone WhatsApps you, they expect an answer fairly rapidly.
I wonder whether in WhatsApp the immediacy of it has been degraded by the groups. So if I'm part of groups that I've not engaged with for months, so I've turned them off, or I've muted them for a year or something like that, but I don't want to be rude and leave. So whereas any individual message that I get from that have sort of become deprioritised to me because it's bundled up with those people. So it's like a social media thing now, WhatsApp, rather than a messaging
Do you use
service.
WhatsApp for any promotional stuff?
No.
Any alerts from businesses?
Never.
See, that's interesting, because I do that.
I'm
signed up to a few things. I'm signed up to Hot UK Deals.
When you said Hot UK, I just...
They send a curated... I think it's based on my preferences, which is all tech stuff and all that. There's more stuff to buy.
Do you think that means you are more likely to buy from when you get it through that.
I'll tell you why, because I always check. I might not open that message, but I'll check the notification, and if there's something right at the top, they go like, oh, there's a TV I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, let's have a look at that.
But if a dopamine hit as well, you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
But whereas I've got the Hot UK Deals app, and I just check it every now and then, and then I probably scroll until I see something that I saw yesterday.
Yeah. It's all part of a big thing, like it's been going on a while, hasn't it, since I suppose before the internet as well, but this information overload idea that there's so much information nowadays that actually the value of the information is limited because you can't process it all. And it's kind of moved into communications now that, like, you know, before it was just websites, there's so much, and like there's so much getting at you, and you're getting bombarded by emails and so on, like, but now it's like even like your instant message is bombarding you all the time.
Well, I think it's because the instant message is the most immediate form of, like, so we know we have to interact. So people then put it as number one priority, right? So in every marketing thing, it'll be, this is your number one thing. If you get a text and you've got access, but of course, as soon as it becomes the de facto standard form, then it gets demoted because everyone gets saturated through.
Yeah.
Just like the phone itself. I don't answer the phone to numbers I don't recognise.
No.
You know, but at some point, maybe from the 80s onwards, it was the absolute gold standard for contacting somebody and getting them. Now it doesn't matter because I'm just going to block you.
I think the thing with phones, which is something that's probably different, and it hasn't really happened with instant messages, is there's a standard, isn't there? Like, it doesn't matter what phone you've got.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What phone network you're on, which operator you're on. I can phone you from my phone, and it will talk to you. Now, there doesn't seem to have been that same consolidation with, like, kind of the instant message. So I can't WhatsApp to your
iMessage.
It's also the same with social media, which kind of goes hand in hand, because it feels like they've all got their own messaging services. But I mean, thinking back to Snapchat, I don't use that anymore, and it wasn't because of the update. It's because there's loads of other social media platforms now that do it, and they probably do it better. Like, their whole thing was you send a picture and someone looks at it and it's gone. But then they introduced these stories and things like that. All these.
Do you think they lost their why?
I think so.
Yeah. It's kind of like,
I think so.
The why was like immediacy.
Yeah.
And it's gone. You know. So, you know. So they exist to offer you that way to live in the now. Yeah. Whereas as soon as they started going, oh, we've got things that hang around. Yeah. It's like, oh, what are you then?
Yeah. Strangely enough, they wanted to become more like the other platforms.
Yeah.
The platforms
which is where they failed.
just took what they did and actually did better. And now they're kind of irrelevant. Because I mean, if I wanted my group of friends who are all across these different platforms, some of them might prefer to use Facebook to share their photo story of the day. They also might use Instagram to do the photo story, but then they might use Snapchat. And I'm not being. I don't have time to look at these 3 different platforms to consume. You know, this.
But some people do, and it's like mythology for those people.
Yeah, and to go through each one, like, and it's so irritating. Like, I mean, I'm a big Twitter user. Like, I enjoy using Twitter. I like the conversational aspect of it, of the actual tweet. I hate the messaging. I don't understand the messaging part. It's just completely pointless. Like, it's like email, like I said. But just send an email. I don't see the difference, and it just seems. You know, I'm quite happy to spend like time on Twitter, but then I don't want to go and use Facebook at all. No. But then other people then
set it on fire.
I mean, I don't know. Certainly on the Samsung phone, the Facebook notification for Facebook Messenger is the most annoying notification ever.
Oh, that
it doesn't just notify you; it comes up with a bubble that hangs around, hovering over my other buttons that I can't get to. There's a stupid bubble on there. So every time it appears, I drag it to the X anyway. Yeah. So I hate Facebook Messenger. Yeah. But like, how do we consolidate these people? And people aren't being efficient, are they? If they're talking on different platforms that can't communicate with each other, and like certainly like there's some things like Twitter. I don't think on the phone app you can't copy things.
No, you can't.
You can only do it on like the desktop. So like, if you want to take something from a tweet and put it onto onto like a WhatsApp. You can copy a link. Yeah, that's it. But then if they aren't logged into Twitter, then they can't necessarily see the link anyway.
It's a nightmare for content creators because, like I was saying with the story thing, if you're an influencer or the likes, and you're on all these platforms, I mean, you have to do the same. You're gonna have to take 3 pictures to do the story.
Because didn't you say Instagram? There's no desktop. I mean, I don't really use Instagram.
You
so
can't
there's no
post. You can't post.
No, you
or
can't
at
do
least
anything meaningful, can you?
it's not out the box anyway. You can't post photos via desktop machines.
So I mean, why are they
do.
putting barriers in the way of
I'm sure there's
communication
probably
if
good
they're meant to be
reason, yeah.
communication things?
Yeah.
I mean, that's I don't know. It just seems to me like there's a
It actually,
maybe
yeah,
the market's just not mature yet. That one clear winner will eventually emerge, or they'll start like trying to
I think that's what's happening.
coalesce,
probably,
to a
reckon,
common
yeah.
format where they can interact with each other. Because
Just like the phones.
at the end of the day, social media or instant messaging, it's just about communication, and it shouldn't really matter which platform you're on.
I wonder whether the supremacy, like, it's so important to these companies to have supremacy because the value of having your messages is extremely high. So no one's willing to cede ground.
I feel like that's what Facebook's trying to do.
It's like we've got,
They
and whoever
need that
wins has got
messenger.
the most valuable data.
They'd be
Yeah.
buggered without the messenger thing at the minute.
I keep seeing like the terms and conditions get tighter and tighter, and the API access for people to like do third party things with like you can't tweet the same as you used to be able to do from an outside application. You've got to be inside the application for
It's a nightmare
things.
maintaining those.
Sort of the likes of the companies like TweetDeck and things like that, where you can manage multiple accounts. Features would just drop off because these companies have tightened up their terms and conditions so much that
people are
have
subscribing to these
apps.
services as well, and they're losing out on features because ultimately, Twitter and Facebook, that they're having to tighten these.
It is. I think that must be like handling our data is just the golden chalice for these companies. Otherwise,
we've seen how powerful it can be.
Yeah.
I suppose the likes of GDPR is meant to restrict this.
Yeah.
But is it going to
It's
have
just
an
making
impact,
more
or
of
are
it.
they just going to get round it?
Yeah,
And
of course.
it's
just so outdated to think of cookies as being the way that they measure.
Yeah.
They measure you. You know what I mean? Like they've got their own data.
No, but I mean using your data under GDPR, the use of your data.
Yeah.
So like, there's only so much value they can derive if you don't give them permission to use your data.
Right.
Are we the ones who are losing out ultimately as well because of all the hoops that we're having to jump through?
Yeah. But I mean, I suppose the key is whether someone will come along and integrate these services, and whether there is a way where you can make it easier for people to communicate, which is the whole point of these tools in the first place.
Yeah, because you can't really archive anything, can you? Like I used to archive my messages, so I'd have like
You can do it on
for
WhatsApp.
years. You can archive them, but like I'm only archiving my WhatsApp messages. And you have like separate. So like
it's annoying, isn't
you
it?
kind of feel like things are permanent, but actually they're not at all. Because you can't make head or tail of them.
There's too much, and the volume's too great, and like the context between different platforms, like if you've WhatsApp someone based on a Facebook post and you're referencing that,
exactly.
If you
and it'll be loads of links interspersed that they're all going to expire and
exactly because that's something like that's annoying now is you'll get people who write like they'll write things like posts or blog articles or anything that are reference to other blog articles that just disappear, and there's nothing worse than going to an old blog article and like clicking on a link that just doesn't exist, and that's only going to get worse over time, isn't it? Because there's no one goes through the internet and
things
edits it and like gets rid of all the old stuff that doesn't exist anymore.
The big problem,
especially if it's like various sites that have gone out of business. That's fine, that disappears. But if there's one big major site that's linked to loads of other sites,
what Wikipedia goes down,
that's just going to be.
I mean, the way that Jimmy, what is his name? Jimmy Wales, the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he pleads with me in like through his.
They're getting bigger and bigger.
I feel like
whenever you go on it.
Who's paying them? Have you ever paid him?
I have, yeah.
Have you?
I haven't.
No, so we're all relying on you.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like he's pleading for money. I'm thinking, well,
people writing lies.
Money keeps on going up as well. It's like, if every user paid £1, we'd be fine.
It's £5.
But now it's like, if every user pays £3.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
It's inflation.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
I understand, but I mean, at the end of the day, you can't rely on the content 100%, can you?
No, well, I mean, as long as it's referenced, I suppose it doesn't matter. But if those references expire, the thing is, they are being curated. This is the thing. Wikipedia is like this second-tier internet that is being curated, so that if the links do expire, but it's just other places that aren't.
Yeah.
So the thing about Wikipedia is, it doesn't. It is a legitimate source if those references say what it says within it. So you can actually check it.
Yeah.
You can go, well, if that source that you link there does say what your summary says.
Yeah.
And you're a valid source, aren't you? So I think that's changed that method. There was one thing I wanted to say there, but we got time.
we'll pick it up next time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
hopefully you've enjoyed our communication via YouTube, and if you if you use lots of other different
platforms.
social channels,
Yeah.
we're also available there.
Yeah, we are.
As Craig will give out the details in a minute. But if there's any comments you want to communicate to us, drop them down below in the comments.
Yeah.
And just let us know what you think at SwiftCase UK on all the social media platforms, and let us know if you'd like someone to come along and maybe centralize all these different platforms.
Or if you think why it's never going to happen, actually.
Yeah.
What's the real motivation for keeping them apart? And pop it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks everyone for listening. This has been the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. My name's Adam Sykes, and we'll see you again next time.